Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning back into another video. Right behind me I have the all-wheel drive turbo CRX. In a few days we're actually gonna go get tuned. I'm filming this on a Friday, and on Monday we're gonna get tuned in Orlando, Florida. A couple things that we have to do before we actually go to the dyno. I have to take the valve cover off. I'm going to retorque the head studs, make sure that they're still in order and whatnot. As ARPs, it's good to check that always. And I'm gonna reseal the cam seals themselves over here, because when I put them on they were still leaking, but I'm gonna put a little RTV to kind of seal it. First, we can't get the seals that we need in time for the dyno, and I don't want to take the timing off after we actually get it tuned, so I'm just gonna do a little RTV around the seals. They're brand new seals when I put them on, they just didn't sit in the caps well or whatever. So that being said, we're gonna start taking this apart right now. Really simple. Take the cam or the valve cover off, and then the cams come right off, and all we'll have to do after that is just timing. Quick peek into the cylinder head. You guys remember I built this motor from scratch. It is still super clean in here. Super clean. I might do a valve adjustment while I'm in here. I'll see how they are. But she is super clean. The cams are still wearing perfectly. For you guys wondering all the abuse that I put my motor through and what kind of oil I run, this is what I run. It's extra high zinc Valvoline VR1 2050. I also run HX bearings on this, so it's a little looser since it's such a thick oil, but it keeps everything nice and healthy. So super happy with that. I just got the spark plugs out. Spark plugs are still looking good. Motor's running perfect. Super healthy, you can tell. And right now what I'm gonna do is, I'm checking top dead center. Everything's looking perfect. And I'm about to pull the cams off and actually reseal that. And we should be good to go put it back together in just a little bit. While I'm doing that, I'm also debating if I'm gonna do like a flat black or wrinkle black on the valve cover. So I think I'm gonna do the wrinkle black though. Alright, so you guys just saw in the time lapse, I took the cams off with all the caps and everything. Right now I have my torque studs or my head studs exposed right now. I'm just going to go over them in the torque sequence just to make sure that they're still nice and tight. Now I don't remember if I did it to 85 or to 90. So I'm just going to start at 90, or at 80, excuse me, work my way through. That was just under 80. Just under 80. There we go. So far, so good. None of them are instantly clicking, so they're probably at like 75 right now. There we go. Very nice. That worked out well. You know what? I'm gonna do 85. 85. It's just barely moving. Very nice. Zero out my torque wrench again. And this is a 1/2 inch 12-point socket. See if the camera can focus in on it. 1/2 inch 12-point. There's a few spots that I want to take some oil off of. Starting on these, where the cam gear rides right here, where the seal for it. I'm gonna clean this up real good and degrease it as well. Since I can't get any new seals before Monday, I'm just gonna kind of send it with some RTV. So right over here where the seal itself rides, as soon as it's 100% degreased and whatnot, I'm gonna put some RTV there, as well as cleaning the seals, because you see the little spring part where it would leak out from being old, like on the cam itself, is still in very healthy condition. So that's not a bad seal, it just didn't grab correctly. So I'm gonna clean it up right here. I'm also gonna clean up right here where the distributor seal goes, and one right here on the back of the cam seal. That way I can apply some more RTV, take this one out actually and clean it, and then make sure that I have a good seal all around. All right, I have some portions of the valve cover taped off. It's not really professionally taped off, I just have some tape shoved in through it so nothing goes inside. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just the paint that we had before, and I used some wax and grease remover, scuffed it up a little in some areas that needed it, but since it is Wrinkle Plus, I'm not worried about the surface area that much. But it asked for 3 heavy coats, and I'm almost out of this, so let's hope that it works. And if it doesn't, it's all right. And with the first coat, you're not gonna notice too much of wrinkling happening, but that's just the first heavy. But I'm gonna let that on there for about 5-10 minutes, and then I'll do another coat. Instead of going like this, I'm gonna go like this, horizontal versus vertical or whatever. And after the second coat, I think I'll be out. So it says about 2 hours to dry, so the wrinkle effect can start to happen. And if you have a torch, once you have the last coat on, you can actually give it some heat around this far. You can see it's not burning my hand, but I feel the warmth. If you do that, about like that close, the heat will start to make the wrinkle really pop. Something that I've learned by doing this before in other cars. So I'm just gonna wait for it to dry real quick, do the other coat, and then we'll go and let it dry a little bit more and do the heat itself. We got about halfway through the third coat. This part got good spray. Right here, you can kind of notice a few streaks, and then it ran out completely. So I'm gonna leave that to dry for a couple hours while I go to work. When I come back from work, this should be fully dried and ready to go back in. I'm also gonna pick up some degreaser also for cleaning up all the passages and whatnot. My passages, excuse me, I mean where the can caps are gonna go. I cleaned it off a little with a rag and some carburetor cleaner, but I was out of that as well. So to finish that up, I'm gonna do it later tonight. And yeah. Quick update, this is about an hour after the last coat. You can see the wrinkle is starting to come out a lot more than it was earlier. And obviously this still has a bunch of hours before I actually do the install after work. Just got my clothes out of the dryer and about to leave right now. So we'll see you guys in a couple of hours, and I can't wait to see how this valve cover comes out. Skipping forward about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 hours. We're back home. The wrinkle came in super nice. I'm really glad on it. Now I just taped off a little bit where it says Honda Motor Co. I'm just going to grind away this with a flap disc. I'm not going to cut into the metal really much with it, but I just really want to get the top layer off of it. And so this can actually shine on it. Before I had it painted regular, but I really want to give that a shot right there and see how it will look with that. It came out pretty decent. I like how it looks with the shaved letters right there. But the streaks that I was talking about earlier, we have one right there and then about 2 right there that you can really notice. If you're coming far away from the car, you won't really be able to see any of that, but I know it's there, so it's kind of my picky self or whatever. But I think I'm still going to rock with it. I'm going to start assembling the engine again. I'm not exactly going to record this stuff just because I'm going to zip through it, and I don't want to be greasing up the camera and whatnot. But you guys have seen me do timing in other videos, not only when building this motor, but building the motor for the Integra and countless videos before that. So that being said, if you want to know how to put all this stuff together, look in the channel on the other videos, like the older ones, and you'll definitely see exactly what we're going to do right now, more in depth. So yeah, I'm just gonna whiz through this and hopefully put the valve cover back on right after and show you how it looks. All right, cams are back in, timing is on, tension is set. Now over the next couple days, I'm gonna recheck tension. I'll start it and make sure that the tension is still good afterwards, but it looks pretty good. And the timing has already been checked and whatnot, so I'm pretty happy with that. And now I'm just cleaning up the valve cover gasket. I didn't buy another one, so I'm just gonna reuse that one with some RTV on the corners. So getting that cleaned up right now, as well as cleaning up everything for like the spark plug grommets and the regular grommets as well. I'll start putting some RTV in the corners that it needs, and I can put the valve cover back on. We are 100% back together. Valve cover is on, coil plugs are on, or the caps and everything. Spark plugs are in, obviously. And I actually ended up just wrapping the up pipe and the wastegate up pipe. Now this isn't the final up pipe for the wastegate, so I'll probably do something different in the future. But I just wanted to get it wrapped up right now. And I put a turbo blanket on that I just got both of these items in the mail today from Amazon. There's a whole bunch of videos on that, so I didn't do one specifically for that. So if you want to know how to do that, just check out YouTube, and there's a bunch of how-tos for that. But yeah, so everything's back together right now. The only thing that I have to do tomorrow, probably, because it's like 1:30 in the morning right now, is start the car and let it idle for a little bit, and then check out the timing belt to see that the adjustment is still good. Like I mentioned earlier, the slack, you can see it's almost not even there. Have it nice and tight, exactly how I like it. And yeah, she's looking pretty good. In the next couple days, today being technically Saturday, but Friday night, all I have to do is finish off the vacuum line, which for this side to the blow-off valve, this is going to go right in there specifically, that exact same line. Once we plug in the map sensor that's on the throttle body itself, that's going to be good right there. Then the vacuum line to a wastegate, or excuse me, a vacuum line to a boost gauge inside, and then figure out exactly what I want to do with the breather on the valve cover. Now I have it blocked off right there, and I'm probably just going to put a bolt in here in the meanwhile. But I wanted to keep this line that goes to the back of the manifold just in case we end up needing it for boost reference or anything. But yeah, we're all set right there. Oh, and I need to do a vacuum/boost for the fuel pressure regulator as well. But yeah, guys, that does sum up the video for today. Thanks for joining us for the ride. Let me know what you think about the valve cover. I like this color a lot more, personally, for myself. I like it a lot more than the color shift purple that we had earlier. I think it really just looks a lot nicer. But like I said, let me know down in the comment section below. Today being Saturday when I actually upload this video, if all goes well, maybe I'll do it on Sunday. And yeah, we'll be able to get onto the dyno on Monday and actually get her tuned. So without further ado, we'll see you guys in the next one. If you aren't already subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe notification bell. And have a great evening, because I know I'm about to pass out and go to sleep. Good night, guys. Peace.